Hello, welcome back. I'm Ruby Redheart, and for this week and probably the next 4-ish weeks is my guess, 3-4 more weeks of videos, we'll be playing Stray Gods. And last time we learned a lot. We got Hecate and Astarion together. Hecate is the ruler of magic, and she can see what's written through books and what the fates wanted. And Astarion is a minotaur, and they are living in Hecate's domain together. Astarion is basically a servant for Hecate, but he fell in love with her, and we helped him to show his love for Hecate using our powers as a muse last time. And through that we learned a lot more about what happened to Calliope. Sorry. And that Calliope was already wounded when they saw her at the reliquary, which means that she probably was wounded there. We learned that Athena knew this because both Athena came there to figure out what happened, and also Medusa, who is a servant of Athena, was also supposedly chasing after Calliope. And all this happened before Calliope came to our house where Grace lives, or our apartment where Grace lives, and wound up dying, passing on her eidolon to us. So that's where we left it last time. Oh, and if you want to watch the previous episode, I will have that linked in the card above, the iCard. And with that, we're going to be we have 3 choices to start. We can go talk to Apollo, which we haven't yet talked to Apollo, so it might be a good idea to talk to him. We could go talk to Freddie, because we told Freddie that we'd go talk to her after we talked to Pan. Or we can go to Medusa's lair. And honestly, I think that we're probably going to go talk to Freddie, talk to Apollo, and then go to Medusa's lair. But I don't know if we can get through all 3 today. If we can, then we will. If not, then we'll have to see about that. And we're going to go talk to Freddie. Okay.
Hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse.
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having.
Yes.
Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not just yet, no.
We have some suspicions.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
Okay, how are Kaz and Brian? Which, those are our bandmates. That would be something good to know, because we haven't really spoken to Kaz or Brian since becoming a muse, and it's been 3 days, apparently. Well, actually, 2 days, because today's day 3. What do you know about the gods? That would be something good to know, but something that we can ask later. How have the idols stayed secret? That's a good question. I don't know that Freddie would know. So, how are Kaz and Brian?
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
No, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing
Okay,
on Brian's couch?
Grace, you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where is Kaz?
Oh.
Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready. But right now, it's best just to not mix them up in this.
Yeah, it is best not to mix them up in this. They already have enough things to worry about. So, sorry about the band. How that I don't stay secret. Okay, well, we're already on the band. Let's go. Sorry about the band.
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I mean. Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has The Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name
Oh my
ever.
gosh. That would be
I
so
still
cool.
really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the source of all the drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
Yeah. I agree with Freddie, and I honestly think that she's right. We should go back to the band after this is all over, assuming that Grace is okay, that we can get her out of her situation, and just become a rock star. Become, like, the biggest band ever. Because, I mean, it would be cool to have a band become that popular and create so much music and songs and inspiration. Which, honestly, might even be why Calliope picked Grace to begin with, because she knew that Grace could do that. And she thought, well, Grace is a great musician. I like her. And for whatever reason, she thought that she'd be the best person for her idol. So, what do you think about the gods? How have the idols stayed a secret? Well, let's get on to the topic before we just randomly go into the idols.
Exactly how much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddie?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's gotta be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe? Who do you want to hear about?
Okay. Let's see. Ask about Apollo.
What
Yeah.
about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but also kind of enlightenment in general.
Okay.
He's always talked about as this beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly
Okay.
had a rough time since those days.
Yeah.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog. Grace. I can list off like a
Okay.
dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, Apollo's no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
Okay. So, among the gods, Apollo was hornier than the other ones. Good to know. He had a reputation even among the gods. Which tells you a lot. He's very much changed, it seems like, because he just seems like he's depressed and doesn't do anything at all. So, let's ask about Persephone now.
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually,
Okay.
she's either a victim or just the wife of Hades, or both.
Well, that
That's it?
sucks.
She was kidnapped by Hades, end of story?
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry she created winter. But otherwise, Persephone was just your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
You're right, that
Okay.
doesn't sound like her at all.
Yeah.
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I have to say, I really like winter. So I'm glad that her mom got mad enough to create it, because without it, I'd be so sad. I have such bad allergies that most of the time during spring and summer, I just have to like stay inside unless I want to have a constant headache and feel like literal crap. I also have other allergies, not that's just outside, but I digress. I still think that it's cool to hear more about these gods. Persephone being so different is probably very surprising. Honestly, probably the most surprising, like Freddie said, considering that there wasn't much to Persephone before this. And I do like the Persephone that this game has created. And I hope that at some point where we kind of made up with Persephone, that we'll actually get to see her again, because I do like her songs and I like her voice. I like her character overall. And even if we don't see her more in this time around, I promise at some point I will be playing this again because it's so much fun. Anyway, what about
you said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into a sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the forest sort of thing.
And you don't like him.
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil. Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him,
Okay. Good to know. Okay, let's ask about Calliope, if she knows anything.
Do you know anything about the Muses? Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9. Though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3. Each of the muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
Really?
Wow.
That's so cool.
I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right, at least.
Yeah.
Did she also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses into magpies, so there's that.
How? Okay. Anyway. Grace shouldn't say that she doesn't like poetry, because essentially writing songs and songs in general is a form of poetry. They have their own kind of rhyminess, they have their own flow, they pull you through, and a lot of poetry is very sing-songy, where if you were to read it out loud, it has a very specific flow and you can almost hear the beat behind it. And yes, some of these where they're older kind of miss beats, but that's often because of the language that they've been translated from and into, or even your own accent can change how these songs and poems sound whenever you're speaking them. So if it doesn't sound right in your accent, maybe you should think about what kind of accent they would have had when they were writing it, if it would have all rhymed, if it would not have been off rhyme, if it would have not had a misbeat or whatever else. Sometimes they do that intentionally to draw your eye to it. Other times they do that not on purpose, but just age of the words, the language that was, got translated to a different meaning. Well, maybe not meaning, but a different word that would not rhyme in the new language, or even just accent. Anyway, back to the questions. What about Athena?
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She was a warrior goddess.
Yes,
she was
I knew
also
that.
the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in those days?
Yeah, guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her own priestesses. She turned people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. It's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her, then.
Yeah. Okay. I still think that it's odd that they chose to depict Athena as a goddess instead of a god, considering that she was she stood for wisdom, which it would seem weird if they were so sexist during that time, which we view them as sexist now, typically, that they would even think that a woman could be wise. And, I mean, yeah, she's a god or goddess in her case, but if you really thought that women were so weak, they wouldn't be very wise either. Also, if women were weak in this case, then you wouldn't depict her as a warrior. Yes, she was also depicted as vindictive, but also, to be honest, she may have been vindictive. We don't know why she made those decisions, and she may have been the cause of some of those wars that they have credited to her, because she is also a goddess of war. So, she starts wars or ends wars, essentially. And considering that, she may have actually been vindictive. We don't know. I have to say, I do not like Athena, her character that we've seen. She does seem like she would be a vindictive person. And I can't say that for the other characters that we've seen. Even Persephone, who could be considered off-putting, just with how this game is showing it, she is more likable than Athena to me. And I haven't seen Athena that much, so maybe that would change. Maybe I'm just being too small-minded. Maybe she's a great person. But I don't know. I don't know that Freddie should be defending Athena either, because she may well have been the person that caused Calliope's death. Okay, let's talk about the other
Just
idols.
how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology, hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never any mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is
Yeah.
a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Me? I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost. But also, what might still be out there.
That's very interesting to mention, because, yeah, you would think about Zeus if you're thinking about Greek mythology, because he's one of the biggest names. Yes, there are some big names like Athena. She's a big name. Most people would know about her. Medusa, big name. Most people would know about her. But there are some really small names that were chosen to be included, like Astarion. Most people wouldn't know about him. Hecate. Most people wouldn't know about her. And maybe people would know about Eros, because the word Eros, which is a Greek word, it's one of the 3 forms of love that they had. But I still don't know that people would know Eros, because they wouldn't think of him as a god. They would more likely to think of Cupid. So I guess Cupid would be included, but most people wouldn't also lump Cupid in with the Greek gods. So it's still odd choices. I wonder if we're ever going to be explained why, like, they didn't have Zeus or something else like that. So let's ask about other
You think
gods.
there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right?
Yeah.
They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know? Then
Yeah.
there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with their own pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? All
Yeah.
those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere and no one would know.
Yeah, that's
It's
so
like a
cool.
whole other secret side to the world.
Yeah, that's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe Lakshmi? Oh,
Okay, enough about mythology.
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
Really? Nothing definitive?
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not
Yeah.
much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
Very true. That anything survived that long is actually more surprising than it did survive, because you have to think anything on paper or papyrus would be flammable, so that would burn. Anything written into stone could have eroded by water or get damaged by a different culture. Really, that we have anything at all from that time period is surprising. Now, I'm sure that it will be much easier to see in the future what people during our time did, like the way future. But it will still be hard because you have to think that every single day, every single year, there's more stuff being flooded onto the internet. And that would make it much more difficult if the internet still exists to figure out essentially what was happening during this time period, because there would be so many videos. Even my video right now would make it harder for people in the future to see what other people are doing. Anyway. How have the idols stayed a secret? Yeah.
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years.
Yeah. It's very
Sure, like
weird.
magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who
Yeah.
says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have to hear this.
I see it.
So you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it. Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they admitted it.
Yeah.
Imagine the headline. Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, no more questions. And I agree, that's what would probably keep them a secret, because most people don't believe in magic. And yes, people do believe in God or gods, but not thinking of Greek gods in particular, because people that typically believe in those get laughed at, made fun of. I know that that sucks, but kind of what happens, because people are like, those are just myths. And if you were going to believe a religion, why would you pick that one over anything else? So, no more questions, I guess. At least for Freddy.
Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check
Yeah.
back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
Okay. We still need to talk to Apollo, so we should probably do that before we go to Medusa. So, let's go to Apollo.
Ah, Grace, you're back. That's good. I was just about to call you.
He means he wants me to call you because Paul here still hasn't figured out how to use a phone.
That
Okay.
That's not true. I know how. I just don't like them. They're confusing. Anyhow,
Okay.
I've been contemplating our list of suspects, and I think Pan is someone we need to consider.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. What's this about phones? Yeah. Let's do
Wait. You don't like phones?
Yeah.
I just don't like talking to people I can't see.
Okay,
No,
that would be
it's the
off-putting.
ringtones. They scare the crap out of him. I kid you not.
I'm not
Oh,
frightened.
okay.
Only a child would be frightened. They're just very loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we return to the subject of Pan, please?
Okay. I thought you discounted Pan. Yeah, didn't he already dismiss Pan previously when we asked about Pan?
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
Persephone did, but I've had time to think it over. Pan is a schemer, a traitor in favors. He always has been. His sudden appearance in all this cannot be coincidental.
Yeah, I
think he
agree
could've
that's
killed
not a
Calliope after
coincidence,
all?
but
Perhaps.
I think that he just
Or
knows,
he knows
too
who
much.
did and is trying to turn it to his benefit.
Yeah, I think that that's
he
more
always knows
accurate.
more than he pretends.
Let me offer an alternative to your Pan theory. What about Medusa?
Medusa?
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Grace?
Right, let me explain.
Yeah, big explanation, Tom.
Well, if Hysterion is right, then Medusa was at the reliquary at the same time as Calliope. I take it you intend to seek out Medusa.
Yes. You think I shouldn't? Of course. I don't know yet. You think I shouldn't? Yeah, because his reaction seems kind of weird. Let's ask about this, because I feel like if I say, of course, I don't think that he would fully tell me why I shouldn't do this. And saying, I don't know yet, isn't enough. I think that at that point, he might not tell us. So, you think I shouldn't?
You think I shouldn't? How else will I find out why she was there?
I wouldn't suggest seeking her out, no. There must be other ways to ascertain how she's involved. Pan is, I believe, still worth looking into. He may even know something about Medusa.
Okay.
Aphrodite is holding a party of sorts, one you should attend. She is closest to Pan. Indeed, she knows almost all the idols. If anyone is up to something, she's bound to know.
Okay. So, why can't you talk to Aphrodite? What about Medusa? What kind of party is this? Okay, what kind
What do
of
you
party
mean by
is this?
a party of sorts? I mean, I'm always down for a party, but
It's more of a remembrance than a party, really. It's difficult to describe.
Remembrance for
that's
who?
awfully vague, Apollo.
Yeah.
It'll be easier to see for yourself. It's nothing you can't handle.
Why can't you talk to Aphrodite?
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
Well, talking to Aphrodite isn't something anyone does with much success these days.
Why?
Well, if that's the case, what makes you think I'll get anywhere?
There's a standing invitation for the Muse to attend this party.
Okay.
Calliope never went, so Aphrodite will be thrilled to see you. Trust me. If I thought you couldn't get her to talk, I wouldn't suggest it.
What about Medusa? Like, what should we do about that? Why shouldn't we talk to her? Like, what about her?
Wouldn't it be better if I checked out Medusa instead?
Trust me, this will be safer.
I'm not helpless, you know.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just suggesting you go to this party first.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll go. Eventually.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Paul, you should see this. The names you wanted me to look up are getting weird results.
Okay, like
I
what?
don't doubt it. I was hoping you could...
Get over here!
No worries, Paul. I'll see you later.
Okay. I don't think that we need to talk to Apollo again, at least not yet. Let me see if we have time. Yeah, we have plenty of time. So, we can either go to Medusa's lair, which I don't know if we should yet, based off of what Apollo just told us. So, we'll go to Aphrodite's party, and then maybe we'll decide to go to Medusa's lair afterwards. Maybe Aphrodite's party is the last thing that we do today, but we'll have to see. Depends on what happens here.
Fancy party? Check. 100 strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion. Check.
Yep. We're good
If
then.
only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
Grace, you made it. I'm so glad. I was beginning to wonder.
You didn't say this was a fancy party. I feel a little underdressed.
Yeah.
Grace, look at me. I didn't even button up my shirt. It's fine.
Why is everyone so quiet? You'd think someone died.
I should have told you about this earlier. I've been putting it off.
Oh no. What is it? It doesn't sound very good. It can't be that bad. You're cute when you worry. Well, I'm not going for Apollo this time around. We're going for Freddy. That doesn't sound good. It really doesn't sound good. It sounds like somebody to die, or somebody's about to die. But I'm guessing somebody's dead. And this party is going to be a weird one. Because it's going to be a memorial for a loved one, and we don't know that loved one. That doesn't sound
I don't
good.
like the sound of that. What am I missing?
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right?
No.
No deja vu recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
What happens to me? Yeah. What happens to me?
That's gotta be a lot of memories. She was what, 1,000 years old?
More than that. Much more.
Then what happens to me
Yeah.
in my piddly 20-something years? It can't be good.
Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Sounds like he's talking from an experience. That sounds awful, though. Will I become Calliope? I'm not sure what to think. That sounds awful. Yeah.
I'm learning this now? What are you talking about? It sounds like drowning.
Yeah, very much
It
so.
doesn't feel that way, I promise. You'll still be you, you'll just also be everyone else.
It sounds terrible. I don't even want to think about it.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her Eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
Okay. Aphrodite's going to die. Why have a party for it? That's pretty extreme. Yeah. That's pretty
She
extreme.
doesn't have any other options? Therapy, pills, social media?
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
she hasn't tried all those things. Perhaps you could ask her about them.
It just seems extreme, doesn't it?
Yes.
Very much.
Yes, it is. It is, however, an extreme situation. For idols, our memories can become a prison. This is how Aphrodite chooses to escape.
But if her memories are going to get passed on to a brand new person, doesn't that just mean that she's going to have to keep on running forever unless she chooses to stop it right now? Because her choosing to die, in this case, would mean that she will be passing on tremendous powers to another person, sure. But the person that she was, whoever she is, will be gone. Sure, the other person gets their memories, but it's still not them. It will never be them. And her passing on her Eidolon would be just more pain for another person to have to go through. Anyway, let's ask Apollo if he supports this, because I don't. I don't support this. She's just running away. And the thing is, those harmful memories, those hurtful memories are going to stay, and they're going to pass on to another person. And they're going to have to deal with those. And until somebody stops this cycle, it's going to continue. You can't run from your past. You have to learn to overcome it. And whether or not this person had these memories before, they're going to have to deal with them now. So, do you support this?
Do
I
you
don't.
support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war. And eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
It's not mercy. It's not mercy, though. Because obviously somebody else is going to get those painful memories. The person that originally experienced this is already gone, most likely. So, just knowing this, why would you doom someone else to that fate? And also, running away from these memories aren't going to solve anything. She's not going to feel better, she's just going to be dead. You can actually solve these things. You just need family, you need support, you need therapy, and eventually you can overcome all of these hurdles. And stop dwelling on the past. You have to let go of that past self that went through all that horrible trauma. If you don't, then you're not living anymore. You're living as a ghost. You're no longer you. You can't dwell on the past. You have to, at some point, stop and forgive yourself. Move on. And if it wasn't caused by you, then you have to be able to forgive enough that you can move on. Because in this case, especially, the person that harmed her is long gone. They're long dead. They can't hurt you anymore. And it's just ridiculous that you'd suggest killing someone, giving them tremendous power, but doing them to a terrible fate to want to kill themselves again. She just needs help. It's fine if you are not doing well mentally. It's fine if she had to deal with a lot of horrible situations, but you don't kill yourself for that. Aphrodite has done this before. Obviously she has, by the way that he's talking.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think, perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Yeah.
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past. Well, she still remembers it.
Calliope didn't approve?
Wait. Calliope refused to come to these parties. That's what you said.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Don't get me wrong. I do not think that Aphrodite's intentionally wallowing in her sadness. I think that what's going on is more like she's re-experiencing everything that happened to the previous Aphrodite. And that's going to continue happening to the new person, because it's like that happened all over again to them instead of the person that it originally happened to. So her just moving on will just mean that those wounds will open up again and never have enough time to heal. And in a way, I agree with Calliope for not coming if she really did not agree with this. I understand why she might want to run away. I understand why she doesn't want to deal with it. But she has to deal with it. She's not intentionally wallowing in it. But it takes time to heal. And obviously these memories are hard. And it doesn't seem like they are giving themselves enough time to heal from what happened. So, I don't like this idea at all.
I don't know, Apollo. I don't like the whole idea.
You want her help, don't you?
Yes, but
At least speak with Aphrodite before you make a final decision. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Okay, let's go talk to Eros. We haven't talked to him for a while. This is probably why he's upset, actually. He was upset at the club, not doing well. We didn't know why. And it makes sense now, because he views Aphrodite as his mother, and he's about to lose her again.
Grace.
Hey, Eros. Nice to...
He just really needed a hug.
Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much, you have no idea.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
He's not okay, but
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
I'm sure it has. This happens a lot. It's okay. I don't like this at all. This happens a
From the
lot.
sounds of it, this happens a lot.
Every 20 years or so. That's how long she can hold out until she just can't stand it anymore. Every time, Aphrodite forgets. At least for a while. But I don't. I remember everything. I'm there for the nightmares, the panic attacks, the days she doesn't even remember the war's over. And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
So, this is not just harming Aphrodite, it's harming Eros. And she keeps on doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. But it's going to be the same outcome, because it's insanity to expect doing the same thing over and over again will give you a different outcome. Which tells me that while we're here, we need to try and stop this somehow. If we can. If we can't, then it sucks. I wish that we could help her. Because her choosing to die is not going to fix it. It's just going to mean that in another 20 years, whoever she picked to be the new person with her Eidolon will have to go through this same exact thing. And also, that means that when these memories come back to this person, they'll be brand new wounds, like what they are for the current Aphrodite, where she has to deal with them. Yes, it's horrible that she has panic attacks, is not sure that the war is over, but that happened 3,000 years ago, and her still dealing with it is understandable, but it would not be nearly as bad if she just worked through these things with a therapist, with family, with people that care about her, and also not killing herself means that these wounds are not going to be reopened again. What happened to Aphrodite? whatever it is, it's not good. We don't have to bring that up right now. But I do think that we can do both of these questions, so.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
I know, but it happened to Aphrodite, not me. It's not my story to tell.
Okay, that's understandable. What if I could help?
If I knew what she was dealing with, I might be able to help.
Could you? I suppose it wouldn't hurt.
It's worth a shot. It
What
really is.
happened is that Brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see. So he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one.
Okay.
He found some jackbooted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy. And he told them about the idols.
Okay. That's...
Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
That's horrible.
Oh.
Already.
Yeah. Oh.
Did Aphrodite escape?
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
Wasn't he a smith of some kind? Giant hammer, lived in a mountain?
Some of that is mortal fancy, but yes. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her beyond reason. When
Okay.
he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Yes.
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Okay. Tell me about the still.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all.
Well, that's
We
good.
never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back.
Okay.
Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye.
Well,
It's
that's
funny.
sad.
Because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
That's probably because she feels guilty. She feels like it's her fault that he sacrificed himself for her. And that's sad. And she also may have finally realized that he loved her as well. He may have easily had shown her that, but she might not have realized it until then. Is there no other way?
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times.
I don't think that she does.
She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then
It's
the nightmares
not going to
begin,
be, though.
and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
Isn't this like suicide?
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die. For a while.
But she's long gone, though. Even if the memories are given to the next person, it's still not that person that experienced them. It might feel like they were the ones, but it's not. That still means that a person whose memories are unique, who's had a completely different life experience, is going to die. I want to stop this. I'm just going to be honest, I do. It's a horrible cycle, and obviously this has not worked, and it will not work, it seems. Her doing this again and again will not change it.
Maybe I shouldn't ask, but is there any way to change Aphrodite's mind?
You say that as if I haven't tried. If only... She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
Yes.
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She
I
just
don't think
needs the
that's
strength
working, so
to try.
we'll try.
Or I hope that's all she needs.
We'll try. I'll do my best.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. Do whatever you think is right, Grace. And thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to do before we talk to that? Well, I guess we'll go to Apollo. I don't know that there's anything else that Apollo has to say, but we might as well try.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them.
Yes.
Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
You don't seem comfortable.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other
Yes.
sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're
Yes.
missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
that would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
How adorably awkward of me. That's so sweet. But no, we're not flirting. We're not a flirt. At least, we're not flirting with him this time around. Why is that? Why not avoid them? That's kind of sad. Why not
Why
avoid
come
them?
at all? You don't have to see other idols, do you?
Well, there's the chorus. And we're not allowed to leave the city. Other than that, avoiding everyone was the plan. Until a certain someone made me sing.
Well, honestly, I don't think that they should be avoiding each other. They obviously need support systems, and most of them have been an idol for hundreds, thousands of years. And considering that, that means all of their family and their loved ones would have already died. So, them being a part of each other's lives is a good thing. They need someone that will be with them for hopefully as long as they live. Eros wants this to stop.
To Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble. Piece by piece. Only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
but now it's the opposite.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
I should get back out there.
Okay. So, I think that we're now ready to wait for Aphrodite. And I have to say, if I can stop Aphrodite from doing this, I will, because I do not see this changing. Eros is going to be hopeful. He's going to have helped her for literal decades. And then she's going to be broken down again, ready for death. Because all of the old wounds, or what should have been old wounds, are now new wounds again. So, let's wait for Aphrodite. There's no other reason not to. Don't get me wrong, I feel for Aphrodite. I do. But that doesn't change the fact that her doing this will not fix anything.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is.
I don't like how nonchalant she is, being like, oh, you're here to sing me to my sleep. When no, she wants me to sing her to her death. That's completely different. I know that to them, death does not seem important, because to them, they know that eventually the memories of their loved ones will be passed on to you, but you will never be that loved one. Never. You could have invited me. Nice to meet you again. Can we talk in private? Nice to meet you again. We're not going to talk to her in private, because I do not think that us talking to her in private will do anything. I think that honestly we need to do the song. Have it come from herself, her own heart. Which I hope that her heart has enough choices that I can affect it a little bit better. Nice to meet you again.
Lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have. Grace, Grace. Meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus. And yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
I can tell that I'm going to like Venus. And that's more reason to try and convince Aphrodite not to do this. Nice to meet you. We're just going to be nice to her.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
We'll both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survived my trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady Aphrodite told me. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
I really need your help first. I do plan on her being here later, but I don't know how willing she will be to help me after this is over. So, I hope that she'll be around, and I hope that she'll be willing to help me later. But I really need your help first, just in case.
Are you sure we can't talk first? I really need your help, Aphrodite.
I know you do, my dear. I wish I could be there for you, but I'm afraid my time is up. But since you've shown such kindness in coming, I will ask Eros to make himself available to you afterwards. There's nothing I know that he does not. He is my son, my truest friend, my longest love.
Won't he be a little distracted?
Eros has been through this before, Grace. He knows what must be done.
That's incredibly rude of her to do. For her to not let him even grieve, to force him to help us because she is unable to stay because she's dealing with her own stuff. No. That's incredibly rude of her. No. I'd understand if she was dying of cancer or something else, but her to choose to force Eros, who she considers her son, into a position like that after just losing her, no. No. Just no. Okay. Tell me what my role is.
I have to admit, it's not clear what my part in all this is supposed to be.
How could it be? You've barely just arrived, darling girl. How did you even find out about it?
That would be my doing.
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I've had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
To forget. Honestly, I kind of feel like saying that. Because this is what it truthfully is. She wants to forget. And then she's going to remember. Any excuse for a party? I don't know. Let's go with to remember, because that's the nicest that I can be. To forget is what I would like to say, but that would be incredibly rude of me. In real life, I probably would have been blunt and said that, but...
If I had to guess, it's to remember. One last time before all your memories go away.
Each time the veil lifts, it leaves behind a little less. For me, old Olympus is long forgotten. The glory of Rome, a distant dream. I hope that one day the veil will lift, and what happened during the war will also slip into oblivion.
But it hasn't
But it
happened
hasn't.
yet. Yeah.
Thus, for now we honor the memory of what was, lest tomorrow it be gone forever.
It's not
Go,
going to.
enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
You're going to always remember it. And if she's right and those memories have weakened, then even though that she's having a really hard time right now, it's going to be okay. It's nowhere near as bad as what originally happened. Nowhere near as bad. She can get through it and hopefully not cause Venus this same exact pain. Why would you choose to let somebody have this pain? To have them remember torture and have it be fresh like a new memory. Just know. Just know. Even if it's weaker, no. Let's talk to Venus. I would like to speak to
I want
her.
to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Second thoughts?
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I
Yeah.
would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
No. Not really. No, really no.
Not really. I still felt like me, if that's what you're asking.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
How do you know Aphrodite?
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's
That's
very
it?
kind.
Just like that.
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
I mean, yes, her name's Venus. Get over it. Like, maybe she would tell a really interesting story about it, but it's a cool name. Move on. You're okay with all this?
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
But it's not a mercy. It's not a mercy. And the person that you know will be gone. Yes, you may eventually learn more about her. But it's not worth losing her. And it's not worth putting you through all that pain and possibly eventually losing you.
But don't you feel this is wrong? I mean, you're ending your life. It's like some kind of murder-suicide pact.
Yeah.
I don't think of it like that. Lady Aphrodite is not committing suicide, and I'm not being murdered.
Aren't you? Your life is ending. It's being taken over, swallowed up by Aphrodite's grief.
I'm becoming part of something bigger. Something amazing. Or maybe you're right. It'll be terrible. And I'll end up in so much pain I'll regret it.
So why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
But it won't. It just won't. If it was going to happen, it would have happened years ago. It would have happened probably a lot earlier. If this is the 5th time doing this, I highly doubt that there aren't enough strong-willed women, people, whoever she's been, for them to survive this, if it was going to work. Yes, I do think that Venus is a strong person, a smart person, a kind person, but I don't think that this is the right thing for her. Begin the ritual. We're going to try our best to try and convince Aphrodite to live.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. were wrong. You were wrong.
That may be true, but it happened long ago.
Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were
Focus
wrong.
on what happened
We
next.
were wrong. We sought shelter from the shadows, but were soon ripped from the dark. Those mortal souls that ended us were jealous from the start. They hunted me for power to fuel their psychopathic cause. And once they fell before me and worshipped all I was, they chased me down and threw me in a cage, held me prisoner for so long. I thought that we
Focus on your survival.
I was wrong. I was wrong. I see you have the power. It's a poisonous reward. My virtues only scorn me when I was once adored. Loved by every mortal, then ripped from paradise. No one suffered greater till he made his sacrifice. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes,
Yes.
the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell.
Yes, but you're out of it. You're safe.
But it was
You wouldn't have wanted this.
said to me, he struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory. And this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
You went through so much. I'm sorry. I had big doubts about this. You need to stop this. This is so pointless. She did go through so much, and saying sorry would be nice, but that's not going to help her. Saying that we have big doubts about this might help her, might turn her away, or you need to stop. This is so pointless. Because it's over. Let's go with that.
I gotta say that I'm amazed I held my tongue for so long. Not such a fan of this old plan, but who's to say that you're wrong? Now shoulda gotta erase a memory when there's no chance of changing history.
Yeah.
This guy that sacrificed his life so you can live in his place. Wish he'd drop by, cause man, I'd die to see the look on his face. You try to hide from your reality, but then come back with regularity. And if you notice a disparity, then what's the meaning of his legacy?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn about your suffering? Who wants to see you be yourself again? Who feels your pain in case you're wondering? You got the time, but it's the stuttering. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
Is it what we do now that morons moralize? Baby through their mouths, how could they sympathize? Please, just shut it, or rain down from above. Hate flooded into the drains. I feel nothing of love, only the fear of the chains. over long forgotten stains. It's not my blood inside these veins, only human remains calling forth. Everybody knows my pain is insurmountable. Everybody fights your attitude detestable. Everybody wants to hold themselves accountable. Everybody have you something more suggestible.
Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
Listen to Eros.
I never thought you'd let it get this way. I stood by watching what we've built decay. We're just pretending that the ending is near. Mother, isn't it clear? Your family's here. Everybody can see the agony you're going through. Everybody knows the goddess is inside of you. Everybody keeps repeating what they're meant to do. Everybody, I've got to stop it just to prove to you. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
Urge Aphrodite to forego the ritual. I want her to forego the ritual, but I don't want to force her. I could let Aphrodite decide her own fate. Urge Aphrodite to forego the ritual.
Everybody who's gonna help me overcome the war. Everybody who's gonna be there when I'm on the floor. Everybody who's gonna cry when I walk out the door. Everybody, 'cause I'm not gonna do this anymore. Everybody wants to see you, wants to see you fall in love again.
I'm glad that we were able to stop her, hopefully.
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to.
Live. I have chosen to live.
Yes, now it's time for healing. Lots of healing, and lots done.
I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
Yes.
I as well. Always.
I
She
hope
has
none
people
of us
that care
regret
about
this
her.
choice in the days to come. But thank you.
This will work out.
It has to be better than doing the same thing over and over.
It is.
Does it? It could also be far worse.
Don't talk like that, Mother. We can fight this.
I'm so very tired, my loves, but I will. I'll try. Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
I've narrowed the list.
Nobody definite, no, but I've narrowed the list of who it could be.
Oh, how's that?
For one, it had to be someone who had access to the reliquary. Two, it had to be someone who could do it right under the noses of Hecate and the Minotaur. Medusa was there, but I'm not sure she got inside. And are either of those things true for her?
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably not.
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. Must have been the reliquary.
Yeah. Why wasn't this mentioned? She knew it was coming. What kind of plan? Why wasn't this mentioned?
But you saw her? Why wasn't this mentioned earlier?
Well, we knew something was wrong. We were concerned, but not enough to intervene.
Calliope was always upset about something. We thought it was just another one of her crusades.
Oh, if we'd only known she intended to go to the reliquary. Why didn't she tell us? I'm afraid I can't offer much help, Grace. Few have access to the reliquary. I certainly do not, and I don't know who does. If Medusa was there, I'd ask her why and how. There are always motives lurking within her motives.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
I'm glad that she has people to help her. I think that this was the right move.
So, did they have anything helpful? I see. Then you still intend to seek her out.
Yes, we will be going to see Medusa. But also, I find it awfully weird that even if Calliope was always crusading, always on some new thing, that they didn't mention that on the night that she died, she came to them with some plan. They don't know really what was in the plan. And they didn't even think to mention it, didn't think that it was suspicious that the same night that she had a plan, she died. And also, Aphrodite was one of the people in the chorus who were okay with sentencing Grace to death, not knowing what happened to Calliope. Knowing that already, that's just suspicious, but I guess Aphrodite couldn't be the one because she doesn't have access to it. And it seems more like she's caught up in her own misery to deal with this some other time. So, anyway. Yes, we will be seeking out Medusa, and now we have a few options for what we could say. We could say, you could protect me, but that's a flirty response, so we're not going to do that. Because we're going for Freddy. Is there another way? Yeah, is there another way then? If you don't want us to see Medusa, tell us a different way.
I have to. How else will I find out what she knows?
I still don't like it. Athena employs Medusa as a spy master of sorts. She works from the shadows. I don't actually know where she is. I'll see if I can find out. But it won't be a simple matter. You should probably ask around. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
Aphrodite went through so much. I'm thinking about Calliope's memories. I'm fine. We're not fine, obviously. Yes, Aphrodite went through so much, but she is going to have to work through those memories. And she has a good support system now. So, I think that we should say, I'm thinking about Calliope's memories. Like, will this happen to us?
What you said earlier about Calliope's memories coming back.
That wasn't how I wanted you to find out. I'm sorry. If you like, we can talk about it later at my place, after you've had some time to digest.
I might do that. Thanks.
I suppose you'll be headed home.
Or to look for Medusa, yeah.
Then I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself, Grace.
We will. We'll take care of ourselves. Don't worry. We're still trying to survive. But I think that this video is already going to be kind of long. So I think that we're going to end the video here. I would love to see what your thoughts are in the comments about Aphrodite. If I did the right thing persuading her not to kill herself, do you think that it would have been more of a mercy to kill her and let her memories go on to Venus and have Venus have to eventually deal with them? Or do you think that I could have handled that differently? Do you think that I should have handled it differently? As always, if you have any criticisms, please put them in the comments down below, or critiques. Be respectful and try and word them as best as you can so that I can understand what you're criticizing, what I should do better for next time. And if you would like to watch more of Stray Gods, we will be continuing this series until its completion. So I would love to see you next week. And I hope to see you then. Thank you for watching.